the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now.
So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject custom chemicals about the console failing on. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey there, welcome to WannaBet. We appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I am Jason, that is Ben. Sometimes we have friends and fellow handicappers here with us, and sometimes it's just the two of us with our little ditty there, the jam of the summer, trying to make you money. That is what we do. We every single day are breaking down every sport that interests us, every sport that we gamble on, and we're trying to whittle our work down to the very best bets that we feel strongest about, to tell you guys why we're betting them, and then to bet them as a community and make money together. And that is absolutely what we've been doing since we launched this show in late May. I think May 21st was our first show. And the format is the same. First, second, and third down are our three favorite bets that we've placed really since our last show. First to third down's the money down in the NFL. That's the bet we feel strongest about. Fourth and long, sometimes it's fourth and long, or sometimes it's fourth and short. It might be a bet that can hit real quick tonight, like a whole lot of Nerfies and Yerfies that we're getting you paid off of, where you don't need to watch more than one inning of that game to know where your bankroll stands. Sometimes it's a long-term bet, like a future that won't pay off for a long time. Sometimes it's a long shot, hence the name. And then over time, we delve into different topics as well. Today, we're going to have four downs for you, plenty of bets. But Ben, as always, how did we do last night? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I got to be honest. I want to get us over 30 units and start pushing towards 40 units up. I have not had my best week in the world, but we bounced back strong. The MLS bet in a 4-3 game. Love it. Seattle lost in extra innings after they couldn't get a bunt down in the top of the 10th. That hurt us. What you don't see there is bets we made for yesterday's games earlier in the week. So, Ben, we both went, I think, 1-1 in the PLL. I went
2-0.
I'm off the CFL. And I also hit a Nerfie, the second leg of which was rained out in Kansas City and Cleveland. But we'll get back to that game. The first leg, Miami and Milwaukee hit. How did things go for you, Ben?
Yeah, I actually went 2-0 in the PLL because we did have Kavanaugh's points cash.
Oh, that's right.
In the first game. So that was what got us profitable. As you can see in the record, I went 1-2 in the first three downs, but the PLL, we went 2-0 to get us profitable. Aaron Judge just did not look good at all at the plate against Taijuan Walker, which I did not expect. And the Chicago White Sox, Jason was right. They were driving the ball out of the park against Shota Imanaga, and it was
Imanaga
from the jump.
Scares me, brother. I'm going to be fading him down the stretch.
It was not a good look. But Alyssa Thomas basically cashed at halftime. So she kind of settled us there, and the PLL took us through the night to keep us profitable. So we are still another profitable day. I think we got 3 in a row.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's been a good week here. And look, again, I've not had my best week. Ben is really hot. Between the two of us, we cover a lot of ground, again, with our friends when they join us. And there's always a smorgasbord of bets available that we provide that are going to get you paid. And Beltway Ben, Saturday morning, I've got my coffee. You don't drink coffee, so I don't know what you've got. Probably some chocolate milk. What are you fueling us into here on first down?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to a pretty familiar friend that we still have yet to watch play since we started the show. And it's going to be Clemson on the money line at -164 in week 1. And I'm doing it now just because I think when we get to week 1, which is not too long away, but I don't think we're going to be getting as good of odds. I checked last week, and the odds were a lot better for us to bet. And then I see this, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, it's flying up. Because I think people are really starting to figure out what Clemson's about as college football gets closer and they look more and more into it. You bring back 17 starters, that changes everything. You have a coach who neither of us like, but he has won at this level, and he has been able to get it done, versus a coach who is, quite honestly, a fraud. Like Brian Kelly, he knows how to lose these games, to be quite honest with you. And LSU is always known for losing the big games since he's taken over as their coach. And you look, they have Clemson has two of the best wide receivers in the conference in Williams and Wesco, and I think they're going to give issues. And the offensive line brings back 4 of 5 starters, which is pretty big for a matchup like this in week 1, where you know the pressure is going to be high and everything will be rolling. Didn't even get to Cade Klubnik yet. And I get it. Nussmeier is a very good quarterback. Those two are being weighed as the top 2 quarterbacks in next year's draft. I think Klubnik outplays him. And the one difference with Klubnik, he can use his legs and does it a lot more. And I think that could be the game changer in this one. I like Clemson. After having to start with Georgia the last 2 years, you finally get, and it's crazy to say LSU's a fallback, but you get an LSU fallback this year, which is a lot easier and friendly for them. So I like them on the money line in week 1.
Love it. Yeah, we've been on Clemson early on this show. And again, this value is not going to be there forever. First down for me, I am backing the Cincinnati Reds on the money line today. Andrew Abbott on the mound. He's been filthy. He's got an 8-1 record, 2.13 ERA. Beltway Ben at home, the ERA is sub-2. Not every lefty likes pitching in that ballpark. He doesn't mind it at all. The Reds offense, I'm not going to lie, like it's a little hit or miss. Like I've lost some bets on the Reds this year that I felt pretty strongly about, but they just couldn't put the ball in play. But they're playing pretty good ball right now, and the Rays are falling apart. Rays have won 5 of their last 21. Beltway Bet, they've won 4 of their last 14. And if you look at that 14-game stretch now, where they're 4-10, they have scored 3 runs or less 8 times in that span. They've scored 4 runs or less 11 times in that span. And the Rays, this number is crazy to me. The Rays on the road since June 15th against left-handed pitching have a 490 team OPS. I'm going to 490. And they're facing a nasty lefty today. The Reds have 9 runs scored since June 15th against lefties on the road. That is second lowest in baseball. Pepio on the mound for the Rays. The K rate plummets on the road. I don't really understand why, but he does not get swing and miss on the road. Maybe he doesn't pitch with as much confidence. And I think this Rays team is really sputtering. And look, if you want to lean into the run line, Cincinnati is 14-5 against the spread as a home dog. But let's just take the money line here. Second down, Ben.
Yeah, second down, we are going to go to the MLB here. And I'm going to go with Gleyber Torres over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I would also suggest playing him to get a base hit and the Tigers on the money line, which you can get a plus money, because I do think they bounce back today with Terry Skubal on the mound. And when you have the juice with him starting, it's not even worth taking the money line by itself. But I do think Gleyber has a strong day. He's hitless in 3 straight games, and he's the leadoff hitter for them. And he's really bought into that role, and it's been pretty impressive watching him. 275 against right-handed pitching this season, and he's got a 305, 389, 476 slash line at home. Faces Gosman today, and we know how much familiarity there is there because Gleyber spent so many years in the AL East playing against him a bunch, and he's got 26 career at-bats against him, hitting 308. So it's not like it's a small sample size, and it's also not like he's doing it all right. I mean, he's hitting above 300 against Gosman in his career. Gosman on the road has not been very good.
Yeah.
I do think the Tigers need a bounce back, and for that, you're going to need 2 guys, and Gleyber Torres and Riley Green, to really come through. I was going through both of them, kind of weighing where I would go, but I decided to go with Gleyber Torres over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And like I said, I would also suggest playing his base hit and the Tigers on the money line, which you can get at like plus 105, I believe.
Yeah, Meatball. I've been riding the Blue Jays quite a bit. Was on the Blue Jays again on our Discord. You want to join our super Discord, look at the bio in my link tree on Twitter or Ben's. You can find out about that. But that's got to end eventually here. The Tigers, 1 win in their last 12. They're not that bad. And the Blue Jays also, that magic carpet ride, it's got to come to a bit of a halt. Second down, summer soccer continues, Beltway Ben. How about the plus 180 on NYC FC last night? Crazy match. I'll take it. 86th minute goal to win 4-3. That's MLS this time of year. I like Vancouver a lot here in this matchup against Kansas City. For me, Vancouver is one of the teams that was disrupted the most by the Gold Cup and then the World Club Cup. And they had a lot going on schedule-wise. I think it slowed and stalled some of their momentum. But when they can put anything close to their best 11 on the pitch, they're one of the classier sides, especially at home. And there do tend to be a lot of goals when they play. They are heavy favorites in this match, and I don't usually like to delve into that too much. On my moneyline soccer bets, I'm usually looking for plus money because it's widely available. But I will turn this into a parlay here. So, like, if you're looking at Vancouver, Their last 4 games, there have been at least 3 goals scored in all of them. If you want to look at the last 3 head-to-head between Vancouver and Kansas City, all 3 of those games have featured at least 3 goals scored. Like Vancouver, you look at their last 12 games, they're scoring at least 2 goals a game. They've also conceded in 4 of their last 5. Kansas City, look, they're one of the worst teams in the Western Conference. Vancouver has 18 points more than them. This could be 3-0. Like, I'm not saying we necessarily even get Kansas City to come along. Like, do I think both teams score? Probably. I think Kansas City's probably good for 1, and I think Vancouver wins this match at least 2-1. But I think, Sebastian Berhalter will be a factor in this match. Again, I think Vancouver themselves score at least 2 goals. There's some other ways you can approach this, but I expect Vancouver to be strong down the stretch and take care of business against Kansas City. That's a late kickoff tonight, 10:30 for the Whitecaps at home. Beltway Ben, third down.
Yeah, third down, we're going to go to the Orioles game. And, I mean, yesterday, I could write a book about how much of a joke they are. But I do think Ramon Laureano has been one of the bright spots for them all season long. Plus 100, you can get him over 1.5 total bases. I didn't want to go 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs because the rest of the lineup really sucks, unless it's just the 1 inning where they explode, of course. But I wanted to just go with his total bases because you can get it plus money versus 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs plus 120. I'm just going with the total bases here. Against right-handed pitching, he's got a 291, 347, 557 slash line. Now, they signed him to be the guy that slays left-handed pitching, and that was the big thing. No, he's actually a reverse splits guy, has some struggles against lefties, but does hit righties. And righties are hitting 333 against Sensatella with 10 home runs. Like, to me, the home run play is very much in play here tonight.
How many of them were there last night in that game? 5 or 6 that came in yards last night?
Yeah. The ball was flying. And on top of that, Laureano's 4 for 6 against him in his career. He's coming off a hitless game. This dude is up there mashing baseballs, free swinging, doesn't really care about anything. They could trade him, and you're going to get his full at-bats. It's not the Kobe Mayo situation where last night, by the way, they pinch hit Ryan O'Hearn for him in a big spot. Forget what the kid can do. Let's see what this guy can do who strikes out on 4 pitches. So I do like Ramon Laureano to go over 1.5 total bases here.
Dan Campbell's riding the lightning with that one there. Ramon Laureano says he wants to ride the lightning right out of Baltimore. Get me the hell out of here. Trade me right bleeping now, to quote Slapshot. Third and long, Beltway Ben. We are fading Mitchell Parker. We are fading the falling Nats, and we are backing Minnesota. Now, look, Minnesota's offense, again, can be spotty. I get it. Last night, they barely won, right? 1-0. But, man, Mitchell Parker's got a 6.5 ERA on the road. The Nats are 3-7 in his last 10 starts. He tends to get hit early and often. And Joe Ryan is pitching like a Cy Young candidate for Minnesota. I don't think this game is priced quite like it should be, given the disparity in starting pitching. That's why I'm drilling down on the first 5. Ryan's got a 2.07 ERA in his last 7. That's a Nats lineup that is not particularly good. Minnesota, Beltway Ben, since June 15th, has an 889 OPS against left-handed pitching at home, and they're getting a bad lefty in Mitchell Parker today. The Twins slash line since June 15th against lefties at home, 300, 389, 500. And this is what I love the most. They're striking out against lefties just 11.5% of the time the last 6 weeks. Best in baseball. They're also walking 11.5% of the time against lefties at home since June 15th. Third best in baseball. Stagnant last night. Blew opportunities to blow that game open with bases loaded and 1 out. I think that's a Minnesota team that can be up 3-0, 3-1, something like that in the first 5. So am I chasing the plus money here a little bit? I am. Look, if you just want to fade Mitchell Parker, I've done that too. You want to go over his earn runs, great. But I think Minnesota's offense will do some damage today. Okay.
Yeah, and real quick,
go ahead,
Royce. Yeah, I was just going to say, Royce Lewis is starting to become a thing again. You hope no injury pops up, but him turning it on is good. And you talked about the strikeout, their lack of strikeouts. Put the ball in play against the Nats. That team will make errors and will mess it up. So I like that play as well.
And if there's a quick hook for Parker, it's the worst it's the worst bullpen in the National League. So if we get middle relief and in with 2 outs in the 3rd inning or something like that, whoever they're going to ain't gonna be that much better than Mitchell Parker. All right, 4th and short. Basically, I've got to stay on these Nerfies, Beltway Ben. I'm having too much fun cashing them and parlaying them together. So it's 4th and short for me. What do you have cooking on 4th down?
Yeah, I went with a 4th and long, somewhat long play. I just went with a WNBA parlay for the night. Brianna Stewart and Dearica Hamby, 15+ points. Kiki Arafen, 6+ rebounds, and then the Storm on the money line. So it's basically 2 same-game parlays combined together. Brianna Stewart did not show well last night. Scored just 6 or 8 points. Wasn't very good. And then Dearica Hamby, like, when you look at what the Liberty do inside, and John Cal Jones might be out tonight, which is going to be pretty big on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think Hamby gets it going and has been one of their best scorers for a Sparks team that's been very disappointing. Irafen has been 6+ boards in almost every game this season. And then the Seattle Storm, like, they've let down against a few teams. Mm-hmm. And I am a Mystics fan. I talk about it all the time on the show. However, I think we have to be realistic. We have to be realistic with some of the stuff we talk about
Shame
here.
On you.
The Storm.
Shame on you.
Hey, they're better than the actual the other team in that city. But the Storm are, like, they're the better team, quite honestly, and they've let down against teams that are, worse than them in a couple of spots. Skylar Diggins is back, which is huge for them. So I like them to win, and Irafen to grab 6+ rebounds. And it's not like we need her to go off scoring, which sometimes you get a little worried. Like, I have this team's money line, but I need the scoring. We just need rebounds, and it's been something she's done regularly. So I like these 4 plays at +304. And this is a 4th and long for me, but I know you're going 4th and short.
Yeah, and look, Beltway Ben is got it cranking in the WNBA. I've been tailing him there and doing quite nicely. Yeah, look, we're sticking with some of these Nerfy parlays here, and you can put the 3-legger up there. I've played this a couple different ways. So we've got the Kansas City Guardians game that was rained out last night. That was a part of our Nerfy parlay yesterday. We're going back to that. I was wondering if they were going to get cute with the starters. They're not. So we've got Waka and his 0.45 first inning ERA against Gavin Williams, who has had a Nerfy in 8 of his last 10 starts. Kansas City and Cleveland are both top 3 Nerfy teams for the year overall, and they're both top 3 if you want to run the home road splits for where they are tonight. So that's the first game.
I'm telling that one.
Of the doubleheader. You were on that with me yesterday.
Yes, I'm on it. Yeah, and we'll go back to it.
Now, while I was waiting for those pitching to be sure about the pitching in there, I jumped on last night back to the Marlins Brewers Nerfy plus Mets Giants Nerfy. That's plus 195, the 2 legs of that. So that's how I first played it. You're looking at a Mets team that is 61-43 to the Nerfy. And if you look at on the road, 31-20. They've been Nerfy heavy. San Francisco's got Nerfies in 8 of their last 11 games. Robbie Ray in the first inning, he's allowed a first inning run in 2 of his last 16 starts. Peterson on the mound for the Mets in the first inning, 0.95 ERA, 123 opposer batting average, 0.68 whip. Last night we got some first inning runs between those teams. I don't think that trend continues. We were on the Marlins Brewers yesterday. Did it take the center fielder robbing a home run off of Alexi Ramirez? Yes, it did. But the Brewers play good defense. The Brewers are a super athletic team. That's baked into the handicap. I'm going back to the well today. Milwaukee has 11 straight Nerfies, Beltway Ben. Milwaukee, 61-42 to the Nerfy. Quintana on the mound for them, 1.93 first inning ERA, 170 opposer batting average, 15 strikeouts in 14 first innings. Junk with the Marlins throws junk. I've been backing him for a while now, and I got news for you. It ain't junk in my wallet. He's got a 1.5 ERA in the first inning. He's got a sub-1 whip in the first inning. He's got a Nerfy in 10 of his last 13 starts. So, yes, I've played it as a 2-legger. I've played it as a 3-legger. And we've been doing very well on Nerfies and Yerfies. I put a lot of time into that part of my handicapping. And let's see if we can keep the trend going. Beltway Ben, I guess we'll do this tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You good to go?
Yep.
We'll figure out a time. We'll do this Sunday morning. I've already given you guys some women's Euros bets, but I'm looking at that game from some different angles. So we'll continue to approach that. We've got MLB, we've got NFL futures, WNBA, Champions League soccer, Champions League qualifiers start again Tuesday. We've been doing quite well there as well. I might have an early bet on that tomorrow. We'll be betting. You'll be betting. We want you to bet with us. We hope you bet with us. When you bet with us, you've been making money with us. Join our community. Check out our super Discord. Check us out on Twitter. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow on WannaBet.